Impact segment tonight, very strong statement from Fox News strategic analyst Ralph Peters last night.
ISIS has a clear goal, and they're well on their way to achieving that goal of establishing a caliphate spanning much of Syria, much of Iraq, and it would be a terror state. So it's absolutely criminal that this president has done nothing.
What of these 300 advisors? I mean, the president's defense, this is a hard decision to make.
The White House is lying. This president is a coward. He won't make tough decisions to defend America. And, you know, it's just at some point, yes, it's a hard decision. Presidents are supposed to make hard decisions.
Joining us now from Washington to react, Senior Fellow at the London Center for Policy Research, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer, and from Boston, Fox News military analyst Colonel Hunt. So what Peters is angry about, Colonel Hunt, as you know, is that for months the Obama administration has known that this ISIS terror army was growing in strength. 11,000 move across hundreds of miles of open desert and seemingly catching the United States by surprise, now occupying all that territory from which they can launch missions wherever they want to launch them, and nothing is being done that we can see. And what say you?
I think Ralph's hyperbolic. That we've got ISIS has got 600 square miles. I think Iraq is gone. I think you have 3 different states. ISIS is a 10,000 strong terrorist organization. Absolutely, the Kurds are going to own the north, and you got the Shia in the south. But calling the president of the United States a coward is ridiculous and adds nothing to the discussion. And Ralph ought to know better. We cannot, I keep saying that, we bomb ISIS. We are going to be seen as in favor and coordinate with Iran. And killing ISIS does not stop.
So how would you, Colonel Hunt, if you were Commander-in-Chief, how would you stop the staging areas that ISIS has? How would you destroy them? How?
Staging areas in Syria staging areas in Syria we can get at. We can get help from Jordan. But the Syrians are bombing them. I'm telling you that we're getting in the middle of this again with ground soldiers, which is what we've done.
You would let them or depend on other nations to stop their staging areas, which I personally believe is not going to happen.
Let it burn.
Okay.
I told you, let this burn out.
All right, Colonel Shaffer, what would you do?
Well, to Ralph's point, the president is essentially voting president like he did most of his career. This is a narcissistic response based on politics. As you mentioned, Bill, the intelligence has been there, and I love Dave. But, Dave, come on. We knew this was coming. We have done nothing.
I'm not arguing about the intel.
Since we talked.
I'm not arguing about the intel.
Since we talked, price of gas has gone up. The oil barrels are now at 115. So inaction is not serving us at the time that our economy grew 3%, shrunk 3% last quarter. So, Bill, that's what I do. I would use our special operations and our air superiority, our power, to go after the centers of gravity that Dave says don't exist. They do exist. And, frankly, our allies can't get to it. We've got the best ISR, the best intelligence. We need to take an action to preserve those issues.
You would attack the ISIS army from the air. Now, Colonel Peters made it personal last night, which was surprising because he doesn't do that a lot.
Right.
And he said that President Obama was a coward and that he's lying. Do you agree with that, Colonel Shaffer?
The president had there's no doubt, based on the information I've been given both directly and members of Congress, that the president was briefed on this as late as February and probably last summer. I did an editorial on this last summer when we first saw this coming. So, Bill, there's no doubt that the information was there.
There was a choice made. In your opinion?
Well, again, in my judgment, I love Ralph, too. He's another friend. I would go so far as to say that the policy of the president is to do nothing. There was a deliberate attempt to not make a decision.
So you would not call him a coward. Neither of you would do that.
I would call it dereliction of duty.
All right. Now, Colonel Hunt, I'm going to give you the last word here because you're in the hot seat with our viewers. I believe that an ISIS terror army having a staging ground is akin to what Osama bin Laden had in Afghanistan before 2011, and that Jordan and Lebanon and other countries are going to be impacted by that. So if I'm Commander-in-Chief, I attack from the air and I kill as many ISIS as possible. You and I disagree on that. Do you disagree that the staging area that ISIS will now have is going to be used for other terror activities outside the region?
Yeah, it's a good possibility that that'll happen. I do not want to get in the middle of this war right now.
All right, so you
should have learned better.
You would let that unfold.
There are consequences, Bill. there are consequences to airstrikes. And
no doubt there are.
Consequences to inaction.
There are consequences to any military action.
We had 11 years of this. We should have learned. We had 10. We lost
Doing nothing is
guys.
not the answer.
All right, guys. Okay.
Bombing him will not stop this.
Oh, they'd hurt him. They'd hurt him from the air.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen,
it won't stop him.
Thanks a lot. Directly ahead, the Attorney General will not investigate major scandals in the USA. Does this mean our justice system is falling apart? We'll have a factor investigation after these messages.